Dysfunctional vet here. I tilled this garden a couple of days ago and we got 1.25 inches, maybe 1.5 inches of rain. I'm now walking over the garden and I'm looking for parts that I may have dropped when I was building my drip irrigation system last year. I know that I will find more of these as time goes along, but after a good rain, that's a good time to come out into your garden and look for things that may have been dropped. Small little pieces like this that could have easily been overlooked, falling out of your little plastic bag as you assemble your drip system if you use one like I do. So with that said, I will let you know that I'm going to till this one more time. I have a big pile of sawdust right over here. I've got these pecan shells to work in, more composted sawdust here to get spread out and worked in, and and as I plant my garden, I will be setting it up because of this forest here, and I can't do anything about that. This is managed land. This land is underneath the power line, so it has to be kept clear. I'm going to thin that out to allow more sunlight to get in, and I can drop some of these trees that are in here, but the majority of them have to stay because this is timber land, and some of the pines have to go just because they're too thick in there. Normally when they plant a forest, they're plant I think on 12-foot centers, and I think they're planted every 6 feet apart, and it's expected that after say 5 to 15 years they'll come in and they'll thin them out, use them for pulpwood. Well, this was not planted. These trees just grew up from seeds, and so there's no rhyme or reason to them. There's no paths in there. So I'll have to do all this manually and clean all this stuff out. So I have very limited space. But coming back to that now, I have also what's called a solar pathfinder, and I can place this in any spot in the garden, and I can know exactly how many hours of sunlight I have throughout the year. But I'm particularly interested in the growing season. My taller plants that require slightly less amount of sunlight will end up over here on this side where I'm pointing, because this area gets all the afternoon light. My shorter plants that require at least equal or more sunlight will be back this direction, because this area gets less afternoon sunlight because of the trees on the other side, but it gets a whole lot of sunlight during the mid hours and such. And when I get ready to do all that, I'll come back on and I'll finish that, and I'll be entitling this Gardening in the Forest. So if you want to look at the episodes, type in Gardening in the Forest, and then you can see the episode that you want to watch.